Hey guys, it's WYKO, and we're gonna be diving into one of my all-time favorite songs, Before You Go. I know it's a little bit old, but still worth to watch. So let's go. So let's dive into the project. As you might see right from the beginning, the second break is not in the project. It's on a different project. We're gonna dive into that later. So first, I think what you guys want to know the most about is the vocal. Well, I got it from a pack. It's called Elixir Acapellas from Cymatics. This is the original vocal.
Took so long for me to find you. I just need a reminder before you go. 'Cause when our hearts get separated, crash and burn is all I ever know.
Alright, so this here says the tempo is 150 BPM. Thing is, the song was made at 128. So if I were to simply fit to tempo, the song would even slow down more. And as you can see, the vocal is super slow already. So what I did was half tempo, which means if instead of 150 BPM, I did it at 75 BPM and fit to tempo like that. So instead of the vocal slowing down more, it's gonna speed up and it's still gonna be in tempo. It's a cool trick, actually. So I obtained this without processing. Let me just turn it off. Just mute this, because for some reason I didn't put it in the mixer. And you might notice that the pitch is also different. That's because I put it in the correct key, which is C sharp in this case, and the vocal was in F sharp, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, F sharp. Okay, so yeah, I had to put it down like 5 semitones. And after that, it was just limiting, delay, reverb, just simple stuff. Then the filter was just to fade in the vocal. The EQ didn't do anything with the EQ. It's open here, but it's not doing anything. But yeah, basically that's it. I just need a reminder before you go. 'Cause when our hearts get separated, crash and burn is all I ever know. I control the place that's feeling. Close my eyes as you don't see it. One more thing before you go. Exactly. All right. So then, this is in the second break. This is an important part, at least for me. I got the chance to put like a female vocal within the song. I pitched it 1 octave up on the second part of the break, and I obtained this. It really sounded like a girl singing. It was just like I checked to see if it would sound good, an octave up, and it just sounded perfect. To give it a little bit more structure to it, I added the octave down vocal, so I could give it a little bit more body to the vocal, and it also worked perfectly. With the filter to fit it in, it's magic. This is the magic behind the song, in my opinion. Just like a lot of reverb and compression within the vocal, and then just faded in with that filter. It just gave it just a warm feeling to the song. So, right. For the break now, simple stuff. Yeah, I also did this to the vocal. I'm sorry. When it crashed, and then I faded out the volume to give it a delay effect. Yeah, and for the rest of the break, some simple stuff. Basically, a piano and a synth making the chords of the break and the top melody of the break, but filtered to give it that warm feeling, and a bass line. Pretty simple stuff. These are the automations for the synth. And this
starts fading in alongside with the sub. And then the rest of the elements, the impact in the beginning of the drop, the impacts, and then the claps coming in also, and then the build-up starts right here. Before the build-up, this is a transition to prepare for the build-up. So this part here is how I found a way to fit the break and the drop together, because they're very different. There's a calm, warm feeling in the drop. It's a complete explosion. So I did this transition here to the build-up, so people knew what to expect what to expect next. You know, there was something big roomish coming. So it basically deletes, filtered, and the part of the vocal going go, go, and go. And there we have it. And then here begins the actual build-up with the drum tension and drum loop from Kashmir, actually. A cool trick that I actually like to use a lot is using the kick drum as a sort of a base for the snares. If you listen to this carefully, if it doesn't have any low frequencies. So what I like to do is to add the kick to give it an extra punch and low frequency. So when the build-up comes, it comes with power. All the difference in the world. I use it in all my build-ups. And I continued here in the build-up having the shout go with the delay on, and then with the delay on, and then the rise starts around here. This is where I actually pitch up the vocal, and the drop synth maintains here. For the drop. So here, as you may see, there's a lot of kicks. Each one is doing kind of a sort of specific part, but this kick is the main one, is the one that gives it the extra impact. The top kick, the extra punch. And the rest of the kicks are, well, besides this one and this one, we're also giving punch. Cut out the high frequencies, but still left the punch in, so add it to this one. And here, these kicks, I gave it some well, except for this one, but I gave the rest of them sidechain and cut out the high frequencies and link them all. It's nothing special, guys, it's just filtering and side chaining some of them, and these two I maintained the impact and I put them together with this one. Part is also balancing. Don't boost too much the lows, just go find the important frequencies you want, maybe in that kick or in other kicks, and put them all together. So but don't put it too loud, otherwise the song's going to distort. You need to find the right volume. You can add a lot of stuff, but you need to find the right volume for each thing. And because in my case, and the extra sub, of course, because in my case it was already clipping. What I do when it's already clipping is because I like how the punch was sounding, but the sub was too high. The volume of the sub was too high, so I decreased the volume here with Fruity Balance. I linked all of the subs to here. I EQ'd it, give it a little. I deleted the mid lows. I decreased the volume of the mid lows, and give it a little bit more. Took out this is kind of the punchy feeling. That was maybe a little bit too punchy, and I give it a little bit more highs. And here, the volume automation. I decreased the volume of the sub so it wouldn't clip, but it would still have a strong sub because it had a lot of layers. Right, that's it for the kick. Now I added, to add more movement to the kick, I added some Psy-ish bass to it. To make it a little bit different. Another thing to add movement were the percussions. Then just added one shot. Going to the leads, basically these are composed of 4 layers. These 2 right here are the main ones. Of these right here. Alright, the first layer of these 2 has Kickstart and Camel Crusher. Camel Crusher I use a lot. EQ to boost the highs and to cut off the lows, and stereo imaging. The second one is not as important, so I didn't go too much in depth. That's why I only have EQs to boost the highs and Kickstart. And these 2 here I'm not going to show because they're not important leads, just backup leads. And what you need to know about backup leads, it has to have body, mid frequencies, and a lot of reverb. That's what I focused on with this. And all together it's going to sound like this. And now to go over the break, we're going to pass on to the other project, which is actually pretty simple, the break project, but yeah. All right. First of all, for the initial part of the break, we have the impact and the effect, the risers here and the stadium effect. Then we have the pads here that are replicating the break MIDI, MIDI's chords, but with big notes. All right, and then here we have this synth that I'm gonna turn off the EQ. That's okay. Delete with this EQ. We have it playing the full MIDI, top melody, and the chords, with a filter automated through the plugin going up, which with the effects can give it that intensity. And for the big break, we have the top melody, the chords, the bass, and the pads, and the continuation of the effects. For the top lead, we have 2 layers. On this one, which is also a backup lead. The volume is not too high. And then here we have the main lead, which is composed of these. This one doesn't have a lot of processing, so I'm going to go over the main one, which has reverb, EQ to boost the highs, cut off the lows. You know how it goes. Camel Crusher, sausage fatten in this case to even give it more fatness. Just a little bit more boost in the frequencies too. And we have the main one plus the backup. Okay, so what did I use also? The chords that are here. This is the main layer of the chords. These are not important. The volumes are super low actually. So with a little bit of release to fill up the empty space, and then the bass and the pads to fill out the space in the mix. What happens next is a filter right here to end the big break. In this part here, I use Kickstart with a kick. Wait. Okay, in this part, yeah, I use Kickstart not at 100% plus the kick to give it an extra flow to the break. This part, I love doing this part. And yeah, after that, I use the filter to end the break. When we hop over back to the project, we can see that this happens here. The break gets filtered out from the project before. With the vocals on top, you don't feel it stop. That kicks in, and the song keeps going. And that's how I made Before You Go. I hope you learned today. If you have any questions in the comments that you'd like me to go more in depth, please do ask, and I'll try to explain as best as I can. Thank you for your time, and I hope you learned today. See you soon, guys.